So I've been cleaning out the front of the tank here, removing some algae and such. I need to find some sort of solution for all the algae buildup on the glass on this tank, because these prawn do not eat algae. They're not scavengers. They're actually territorial predators. So they don't care for little things. They like a good high-protein diet, much like a crayfish. Now, these guys still got a long ways to grow, but what's fun is when I come down here, they see me and they all come to the front of the tank as if to say, "Hey, hi, how you doing?" And I'm like, "Hi, little prawn buddies." And they don't mind. They're good little prawn. But, they're starting to get bigger. They're kind of like, making their own spaces to claim. And, once they're of a certain age, the males are going to be very territorial. They're going to be very aggressive towards each other. And that's going to be something I'm going to have to figure out. I'm hoping by the time they get to a good size, I can sell all of them except two. I want to keep one male and one female. But as you can see, they're kind of spunky. They are very spunky. They're all like, "Hey, get out of here. This is my spot." And they're like, "No, this is my spot." And, they're kind of just goofballs. But, there's 11 in here that I counted. I ordered a pack of 12 back a few months ago, and 11 is what I can find at the moment. Now, they could be hiding, but 11 is still pretty good. I think this is fisticuffs. I'm keeping the big one. He's a big boy. He's got them blue claws going. Hi, fisticuffs. If you don't know what fisticuffs are, that's like an old-timey way of saying boxing. And on guard, prepare for fisticuffs. So that's why I give him that name. Because look at those arms, man. He could box. He's like a predatory, long arm, boxing shrimp. Which I actually did some research, and Macrobrachium, that family, and this is Rosenbergi for the species, is actually a shrimp. It's not technically a prawn, but the common nomenclature is giant freshwater river prawn, even though these guys are brackish water for their larval stages and freshwater for their adult stages, and they're technically not prawn, but, I'm just going to continue to call them prawn because that's just the general way people refer to these guys. But, Fisticuffs is a good little buddy, aren't you? Well, anywho, one thing I've been doing in here is I've been experimenting with how aggressive they are. So, and this little guy, a little platy, has been in here for quite a long time now. Well, relatively speaking, it's been about 15 hours. Now, I had assumed that at some point the prawn would get him, because prawn are predatory. And, honestly, they might just be too small to attack him. Now, prawn do require a kind of high-protein diet, as I was saying. So, they will at some point get big enough and see this as food. Now, I plan on putting this little platy back with the rest of the platies. I don't actually want him to be eaten, but I have been observing him, and I needed a test subject, and he's been doing fantastic. And it seems like these prawn really, really like duckweed, because, holy crikey, look at how thin the duckweed has gotten, except for a small patch right here. These prawn are voracious eaters when it comes to the duckweed. I never expected that. I was never told that they would do that. I don't know if anyone else has ever had that, but they will happily eat duckweed. all the time. They go up there, they pick at it, they pull it out, and yeah, they're just going like crazy on the duckweed. Which, hey, I'm okay with that. There's too much duckweed anyway, but at this rate, there's not going to be any left. But you can see the duckweed floating around, and they see it in their vision, and then they're like, ah, gotta grab it. Give it to me. Mine. But, yeah, you can kind of see. Let's see if I can get some focused video here. Yeah, as it floats around, because we got some kind of like currents going on pushing the duckweed down anyway, thanks to the output of the canister filter all the way up here. But I have to find a way to control this algae, because this algae is going crazy, which means I have to get a big fish that eats algae. So something like a plecostomus. Plecostomus? Well, you know, a pleco of some sort, an armored fish. Because when these guys get bigger, they just simply will not stop attacking because they're territorial. At this age, though, I think I could get away with a bushy-nosed pleco. A full-size pleco would probably be a better, you know, a common pleco would be a better option, but a common-sized pleco is just way too big for a 55-gallon. A 55-gallon is not going to suit a pleco, a common pleco. They need like a 125-gallon to do the thing. So I'm thinking I'm going to go out, I'm going to get a bushy-nosed pleco and hopefully a male, if I can find one specifically. Sorry, I'm going to blow my nose there. Because bushy-nosed plecos, they're pretty resilient, and the males are a little bit more territorial, so they're a little bit more aggressive, which is kind of necessary. When we're dealing with aggressive inverts right here, there's not many options. These guys will destroy snails, from what I am told. So I can't go with the snail option. I was thinking about getting a real apple snail. Now, I don't remember the exact species and family of snail, but there are apple snails that get like this big. I thought, hey, how crazy would that be to have that squiggling around the tank cleaning it up, right? The problem is those are very, very invasive species, and transporting them across state lines is straight up illegal, at least here in Illinois. I could totally understand that, and I totally respect that. And I don't think I'm going to be able to find something like that. Now, there are giant ram's horn snails, but I'm afraid if I get the giant ram's horns, because they get about like this big, the size of like a silver dollar. I have seen them because they're hitchhikers in certain tanks. Giant ram's horns are just like they sound. They're like a ram's horn snail, only massive. And they will eat algae and stuff. It's just they are also insanely invasive. So trying to find a good tank mate for these guys is not easy. Very, very difficult. So I'm going to be doing experimentation. And the sad thing is, these experiments with finding a proper tank mate, because there's not really a lot of information on keeping these guys as pets. These are normally aquaculture creatures, meaning they're bred for their food, or bred to be food. And that's not what I'm going for with these little guys. So I need an appropriate tank mate. That means I will have to experiment. With experiments becomes failure, and I have to be ready for that. I am expecting that. Hopefully it doesn't happen. I'm doing my research, and I'm taking it slow. If I see an incompatibility, I'm going to remove the suffering party, whichever one that may be, and figure out a better home for them than keeping them with the prawn. Because, as I said before, prawn are predatory, you know, yes, they are predatory creatures, so they will hunt. But fingers crossed I find something for them.